The council chamber fell silent as High Arbiter Velden's 4 eyes fixed upon Lyra Hale. The human stood before the semicircular arrangement of alien dignitaries, her posture straight despite the weight of their judgment pressing down upon her shoulders. "The decision is final," Velden announced, his voice resonating through the crystalline walls of the chamber. "Lyra Hale, you have violated Protocol 7 of the Galactic Education Charter. You introduced emotional attachment methodologies to the Krevnari younglings under your care. Such practices are forbidden. You will vacate the orphanage facility within 3 solar rotations." Lyra's jaw tightened, but she nodded once. She had known this moment would come. The Galactic Council valued order, logic, and emotional restraint above all else. Her crime wasn't cruelty, it was kindness. "I understand," she said quietly. The council members exchanged satisfied glances, their various appendages rustling with approval. Humans were still a novelty in the galactic community. Having joined only 2 decades prior, they were considered emotionally volatile, dangerously unpredictable. This dismissal would serve as a reminder to keep them in their place. Lyra turned and walked from the chamber, her boots echoing against the polished floor. She didn't look back. The orphanage sat on the edge of Velkara Prime's capital city, a gray structure designed with functional efficiency rather than comfort. Lyra had worked there for 3 years, caring for the unwanted cubs of various species children left behind by war, disease, or simple abandonment. When she arrived, the facility had been sterile and silent. The younglings moved through their days like automatons, following schedules with mechanical precision. They were fed, educated, and housed. Nothing more. Lyra had changed that. She had sung them songs from Earth. She had told them stories of heroes and adventures. She had bandaged, scraped knees with gentle hands, and dried tears with soft words. She had taught them that it was acceptable to laugh, to cry, to feel. Now, as she entered the common area of the orphanage, 17 pairs of eyes turned toward her. The cubs ranged from barely mobile hatchlings to adolescents on the verge of adulthood. Krevnari, mostly a feline-like species, with silver fur and large, expressive eyes. But there were others too. A Threxian with iridescent scales, 2 Volmari twins with their crystalline skin, and a small Grenix who communicated through melodic chirps. Karel, the eldest at 14 standard years, stood at the front of the group. His silver fur was matted on one side, the way it always was when he'd been worrying. His ears lay flat against his skull. "They're making you leave," he said. It wasn't a question. Lyra nodded, kneeling to his eye level. "Yes. I have 3 days to pack my things." "Because you taught us to be weak," a Volmari twin said, her crystalline voice cracking. "That's what Caretaker Mulrix said. That you made us weak." "You're not weak," Lyra replied firmly. She looked at each of them in turn. "You're strong. Stronger than they know. Being able to care for others. To feel compassion, that's not weakness. That's the hardest thing in the universe to do." Karel's tail lashed once, a sign of agitation among his people. Then, without warning, he turned and walked toward the dormitory wing. One by one, the other cubs followed him. Lyra stood, confused, watching them disappear down the corridor. She spent the rest of that day organizing her quarters, packing her few belongings into storage containers. The council would assign a new caretaker soon, someone properly trained in emotional detachment, someone who would undo everything she'd built here. As evening fell, Lyra heard a commotion in the hallway. She opened her door to find Karel standing there, a worn travel pack slung over his shoulder. Behind him stood every single cub from the orphanage, each carrying whatever belongings they possessed. "What are you doing?" Lyra asked, her heart suddenly thundering in her chest. Karel's ears stood upright now, his posture defiant. "You're leaving. So we're leaving too." "Karel, no you can't. You taught us about choice," the young Krevnari interrupted. "You said humans believe everyone has the right to choose their own path. We choose to go with you." The small Grenix chirped an affirmative melody. The Threxian hatchling clutched a stuffed toy Lyra had made from recycled fabric scraps. The Volmari twins held hands, their crystalline faces set with determination. "They'll come after you," Lyra said desperately. "The council won't allow this. Then they'll have to catch us first." Karel replied. "You showed us what family means. You think we're going to just let you walk away alone?" Lyra felt something break inside her chest, not with pain, but with an overwhelming surge of emotion she couldn't name. She had come to this world alone, an outsider trying to make a difference. She had expected to leave the same way. But humans, she had learned, were never very good at meeting expectations. "All right," she said, her voice thick. "All right. But we do this smart. We'll need supplies, transport, and a destination. I know a human colony on the outer rim that doesn't ask many questions. If we can get there, we will," Karel said with absolute certainty, as they moved through the orphanage one final time, gathering what they could carry. Lyra realized something the Galactic Council had failed to understand. Humans didn't just survive because they were clever or stubborn. They survived because they built bonds that couldn't be broken by decree or distance. And now, standing in the twilight with 17 orphans ready to follow her into the unknown, she understood something else too. She wasn't taking them with her. They were taking her with them. When the council arrived the next morning to oversee her departure, they found the orphanage empty. Lyra Hale and every single youngling under her care had vanished into the night, leaving behind only a note written in Karel's careful script. "Thank you for teaching us protocol. Lyra taught us family. We choose family." The search would continue for years, but they would never be found. Somewhere on the edges of known space, on a small colony world where questions weren't asked and differences were celebrated, a human and 17 cubs had found something the galaxy had tried to deny them. They had found home.